Tracing your Irish ancestors, Irish wills. Why are wills important for genealogical research? Well, there's a very simple answer. They contain an awful lot of family information. The basic information that any will should contain are the name, address and occupation of the testator, that's the person who's making the will, the names of the beneficiaries, that's the people who are going to receive anything that the testator is leaving, the name or names of the testator, of the executor or executors, that is the people whose job it is to carry out the provisions of the will to make sure that the testator's wishes are carried out, the names of the witnesses to the will, the date the will was made, and the date of probate of the will. That means the date at which it was officially accepted that the provision should be carried out. Now, that's a treasure trove of family information. In most cases, the beneficiaries are connected in some way. In most cases as well, those connections will be spelt out, daughters, sisters, son-in-law, and so on. So a full original will is a wonderful document to find. There are a few provisos. Wills obviously are only made where there is something to leave. In other words, where there is property. So they really only apply to the property classes. That is, the further back you go, the truer that is. In the 18th century, the 17th century, it really is only people who are in possession of significant amounts of property who leave wills. As you come into the 19th century and then into the 20th century, the sort of threshold drops and the level of property required shrinks significantly. So wills from the mid-19th century on tend to be more applicable, more widely available, and also, as we'll see, easier to find. The other thing to be remembered is that it's not only wills themselves that are interesting. If there was property that had to be passed on and had to pass through the legal system, then even if there is no will, there will be an intestacy. In other words, a record of the legal rules applied in order to distribute the property of somebody who's died. And very often those intestacies are just as interesting as original wills themselves. There's another reason why wills are important and interesting in doing family history research, and that is that they very often contain kinds of information that you won't find out anywhere else. They're very personal. They're in many cases, an extraordinary number of cases, in the 18th and 19th century, wills were made within a week or two of somebody dying. So you can have what sounds like the voice of an ancestor. This is an example here. It just starts off, in the name of God, Amen. I, William Lestrange of Castlenish, in this Queen's County Esquire, being infirm of body, but of sound and perfect mind and memory, praise be God, and so on. You have, it's formulaic, but it sounds very much like the voice of this man. Also, wills record very often family stories, sometimes indirectly. One of the most common pieces of information you can extract from a will is who was out of favour with the person making the will. In other words, if you know that there were 6 children in the family and only 5 of them are recorded in the will, you know that there's something going on between the 6th child and the parent.